Jefferson, being the commander-in-chief, had a great idea. He said, I think I can help the worship services over at the Capitol Church. What I'm going to have is I'm going to have the Marine Corps Band come play the worship services of the Capitol. Now, wouldn't that be cool to have the Marine Corps Band as your church worship band? Well, that's Jefferson who did that.
But the sole source of this extremely popular lie about Jefferson ordering the Marine Band to play at the Capitol Church services is one remark from a letter written by a woman named Margaret Bayard Smith, the wife of Samuel Harrison Smith, a Philadelphia newspaper editor who moved to Washington in 1800 to establish a national newspaper. There is not a shred of evidence that Jefferson had anything at all to do with the Marine Band being there, but the revisionists will somehow work Jefferson into any of their stories about government-related religious activity, whether he actually had anything to do with them or not. And judging by Mrs. Smith's description of these Capitol Church services, which were obviously more of a weekly social event than religious worship, the Marine Band probably just showed up for the same reasons as everyone else. And apparently they really sucked at playing church music.
I have called these Sunday assemblies in the Capitol a congregation, but the almost exclusive appropriation of that word to religious assemblies prevents its being a descriptive term as applied in the present case. Since the gay company who thronged the House of Representatives looked very little like a religious assembly, the occasion presented for display was not only a novel, but a favorable one for the youth, beauty and fashion of the city, Georgetown and environs. The members of Congress gladly gave up their seats for such fair auditors, and either lounged in the lobbies, or round the fireplaces, or stood beside the ladies of their acquaintance. This Sabbath day resort became so fashionable that the floor of the House offered insufficient space. The platform behind the Speaker's chair, and every spot where a chair could be wedged in, was crowded with ladies in their gayest costume, and their attendant beaux who led them to their seats with the same gallantry as is exhibited in a ballroom. Smiles, nods, whispers, nay sometimes tittering, marked their recognition of each other and beguiled the tedium of the service. Often when told, a lady would leave her seat, and led by her attending beau would make her way through the crowd to one of the fireplaces where she could laugh and talk at her ease. One of the officers of the house, followed by his attendant with a great bag over his shoulder precisely at 12 o'clock, would make his way through the hall to the depository of letters to put them in the mailbag, which sometimes had a most ludicrous effect, and always diverted attention from the preacher. The music was as little in union with devotional feelings as the place, the Marine Band or the performers. Their scarlet uniform, their various instruments made quite a dazzling appearance in the gallery. The marches they played were good and inspiring, but in their attempts to accompany the psalm singing of the congregation, they completely failed, and after a while, the practice was discontinued. It was too ridiculous.
Another widespread